Hello and welcome to another recording of the L and Jerry Football Podcast with me, Jerry, and my faithful partner, L.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Hope everything is well. And yeah, man, nice for you to call me your faithful partner. Likewise,
Yeah,
likewise.
how are you doing though, L? Like, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien.
Oy, well, muy bien, muy bien. Everything is good.
All
Busy
bueno
as
lah.
usual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've
Bueno,
been
bueno.
busy with
All
work
good,
and
man.
stuff like that, but I guess football gives us that little bit of distraction, from working live and everything. And the Premier League, as always, never fails to disappoint. And my God, so many talking points this weekend, from good games to crazy goals. A certain goat
Yep,
showing his proving his worth. He shall not be named L because I think everybody knows who I'm talking about. I can
yep,
see
yep,
he
yep.
wears number 7 and he's Portuguese. I think that's the
Mm,
biggest enough hint for everybody. From decisions to lots of things going on politically and geopolitically as well. With the economy and everything, and with whatever that's going
yep,
on, the
yep.
situation in Ukraine. I'm sure that everybody in the world, I think, is unanimous with the notion or the belief that I think war is really out of question in today's day and age.
Definitely,
I think,
definitely.
I think right now the world. I think the environment we're at war with the environment itself. I think we've got so many things in this world to think about, and I think war is the last thing that the world should be worrying about. I think rebuilding and reshaping our future should be the focus right now. And
Without a
that
doubt.
and that should not include L. That's what I'm thinking. It should not include the destruction, more destruction. I mean, our world is already at tipping point, at breaking point in terms of our climate change and everything like that. And I think war is not really going to help the situation right now. I think there's more important things to focus on as a collective. And I think we can't really speak for individuals here because we are from a place of privilege, and that's what Thomas Tuchel said. It's hard to comment on these things because we are from a place of privilege, and we would not understand what they're going through right now. But what we can say is that collectively we can do our part to make sure
Mm,
that we
mm.
always stand for peace. I think, Al. I think that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. I mean, what's been going on in the world is shocking if you think about it in 2022. And I just know that football unites through love, peace, and so on. And I hope for a better day where we don't have to ever mention the name war anymore lah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's already 2020, and I think the world has moved on, a lot from that. I
Mm,
think there's more things that we could be focusing on. But yes, I don't think we want to get into that too much. I think
yeah.
everybody sort of knows what, and it has their own opinions about it. But our thoughts and prayers and our, sincere, our heart goes out to all those who are in the situation right now and cannot avoid it. I think they should be the priority. Everything else, I think, can be put aside. Okay, so moving on now to the games this weekend. I think there's one game everybody would like to get into, hear about, and I think it's that United and Spurs game, right? I think that was the big
Mm,
game of the weekend. Not really a big game in terms of the championship and the league, but I think in terms of top
yeah.
four, I think that's a very, very
Top
big game.
four, massive
Yeah,
game. Yep.
massive
Yep.
game, massive game. And my God, Ronaldo. I mean, he rolling back the years with some vintage. I mean, that first goal
Yeah.
was
That first
insane.
goal was screamer, man. That was some good stuff. The first goal was it brought me back to 2008.
Yeah, yeah,
That split second, you just Marty McFly yourself to 2008. But yeah, no, I
yeah,
mean, totally
yeah.
Ronaldo vintage performance, definitely. United, however, perhaps not so vintage on the whole. I thought. I mean, I looked at the game and I thought both teams, you could see their deficiencies, I think, and their deficiencies showed.
Hmm.
Spurs in their defense,
To be honest,
Man
Al, I
United.
felt United didn't have really a good game aside from the goals that they were scored, right? I think Spurs were
Yeah,
the more
no, I agree.
attacking team.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. I thought Spurs exposed that right hand side
right.
quite a bit of United's, and one thing I realized about the game before we talk about Ronaldo, if you realize with this whole Ralph Rangnick tenure, this was one of those games where there was no whatsoever pressing going on. There was also no Bruno, which whenever Bruno and Ronaldo plays is usually a very, very uncoherent link up. However, Ronaldo performed without that pressing. So this is a conundrum for Man United at the moment, because when Ralph Rangnick has tried to instill this sort of like German 4-2-2-2 pressing style, they've always come up short in the second half. They've always just ran out of gas, But
Right.
now they won, which is what Man United actually really need this point. You see, because this is a manager's headache at the moment. Because at one point he wants to instill a tactic. He's an interim manager, by the way, which is another whole thing altogether. But the other is you racking up the 3 points. But yeah, I thought Spurs. We know when they pan the camera for the whole field to be seen, both ends of the pitch, right? You could see that
Yeah.
Spurs was very, 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 scheduled with the 3-4-3. It was
Right.
very structured. But United were not the case.
Mhm.
Which, if you think about it, the result did not show the case, because United scored 3 goals. See, but
Yeah.
I think 3 goals were very much a Ronaldo performance,
Hmm.
more so than a Man United performance, which going into the long run, I don't know whether that's going to be a problem, because we can get all high and giddy up and so on. But United were not that great, I thought. Spurs had their moments. I thought missed a few big chances, Son and all that. But, they too defensively, I thought were a bit poor. Eric Dyer should be closing down Ronaldo for that first goal. But yeah, you could see I think you could see the deficiencies in these two teams, and I think Conte would have been really upset with the loss, because maybe Spurs a little bit hard done by. I thought they had their moments, and they certainly did have their moments. Of course, one Harry Maguire, I don't know whether we're going to be mentioning his name in a Man United shirt next season or not, because man, I tell you, dude, if you're a United fan watching this game, I tell you, I sincerely pray for all of their hearts and their well-being and their blood
Yeah.
pressure, all their health, because it's not easy watching him, dude. I'm telling you, dude, it's not easy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like even me watching the game, I think he lacks a lot of conviction in that position. And we
Yeah,
all know centre half, right, has been such a legendary position for United over the years. From, I
right.
mean, Paul McGrath right down to Steve Bruce, and Yap Stam, with Ray
Yeah, yeah.
Ferdinand and
Vidic,
Nemanja
Ferdinand.
Vidic. I mean, you
Yeah.
mention all those names, Al, and you think of they've got the how to say they've got that personality, to
Yeah,
withstand
yeah.
such pressure and to be in those positions, right? But maybe
Mm,
we don't really see that from Maguire right now, and I don't think the situation
yeah,
and all the situation
yeah,
around him right now, I don't think it's helping.
yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
it's only going against his favor and making it worse. That being said, you have to have a strong personality, like what Kino has. I mean, he
Mm,
does not have a
mm,
lot of friends, Roy Keane. I think he has more enemies
yeah.
than he has friends. But that's for a
Yeah, yeah,
reason. I think that's for a reason,
yeah.
because like you need
Mm,
a personality like that. You can't sort of appeal to everybody. You need to have
mm,
that sort of, like, if you look at the other two captains in the team at the top of teams at the top of the league in terms of Ruben Diaz,
mm.
Kevin De Bruyne, Jordan Henderson, and Virgil van Dijk. So those are captains and co-captains, right? And
Yeah,
they bring that personality, they bring that authority to the team, and everybody in the
yeah,
team respects those two players, isn't it? I don't
yeah,
think all
yeah.
players in the United dressing room respect Maguire. And I think eventually that will, it will start to work. I mean, it's already started to work against United's favor, and they sort of
No, I
have
think
to.
they just don't trust him, man. I think they
Yeah, and
just
I
don't
think,
trust him. You could see,
and
you can see.
yeah, if you don't trust your captain, that's one of the first basic things. If you don't trust your captain on the pitch, I don't think it's gonna work out for you, man. And I think it's
Exactly.
definitely gonna be tough. But that being said, I think Ronaldo's third goal, definitely the winner, I think came against a run of play. And that just shows you in those
Mm.
individual moments, he's that person to step up. But what
Yeah,
we
he
do
is the
feel,
guy.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I do think Al and I have been saying this for the past few weeks. I don't think, and ever since Ronaldo came, I don't think we can rely on him as to do that week in week out. You can't rely on a
Mm.
37-year-old to do that week in and week out. You can rely on Salah,
Definitely.
you
Yeah.
can rely on someone like Lukaku to do that week in and week out.
Mm.
But for him, as much as his nutrition is the best and his fitness is the best and everything like that,
Mm.
I do think that age will play a factor here, and he
Mm.
cannot do this week in week out, and United have to fix the problems, because I think Pogba had an alright game. It was very inconsistent
Yeah,
performance. I saw a lot of misplaced passes,
sort of
him
misplaced
having
passes.
lost the
Exactly.
ball especially, but equally
Mm,
many, really good passes and many good
mm,
diagonals and everything.
mm.
But I did feel that Fred was the best midfielder on the day. Even Scott
He did.
McTominay
He
didn't
did.
look like he was up for it. I mean, that
Mm,
flick for the first goal, right? For Ronaldo's first goal. I
yeah.
mean, it just shows that Fred, he has some performances, but still, I think he needs that. I think the midfield needs to work as a unit for United to control games better. Because when the
Mm,
pressing stops and the energy goes down, it seems like there's no midfield there to sort of slow the game
correct.
down and
Correct.
and
Teams
and sort of
bypass too easily.
too
Yeah.
easily, right? And once they
Mm,
bypass the midfield, there's not much of a defense there to be able to hold, to be honest,
exactly. Exactly.
and
Exactly. Yeah.
that's when all the problems start. So I think from the start of the season, we were saying that United need at least two really good midfielders to hold that to
Mm,
and to keep the game ticking, especially when like you see for that Real Madrid game against PSG, right? Al? I mean, there were
mm,
times where they were backs against the wall, right? Real Madrid,
yeah.
but
Yeah. But they got
Modric
stuck in. Yeah.
and Modric really played a big part, in all the goals
Yeah.
and in,
Yeah.
in even preventing PSG from scoring on that day.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
Right.
not many people think about the fact that PSG only scored one goal, and that was fact due to the centre backs and to that midfield having a
Mm,
lot of control as well. And in the
mm,
top level, I think that's what eventually wins you and loses you games. So I mean, great goals I think great individual performance by Ronaldo on the day, but still a lot
yeah.
of work for the team.
A lot of
And I
questions asked for Man United.
yeah, and I guess Tom Brady is a Ronaldo fan, not really a Harry Kane fan, eh?
Yeah, man.
I mean,
I mean,
Ronaldo is out. I mean, he got Tom Brady out of retirement, man. I mean, Tom Brady
that
announced his unretirement from American football.
exactly pick that one out. Huh? So that's
Yeah.
actually 4 goals that he actually scored over the weekend.
Oh God. So I guess yeah. Moving on to the rest of the games during the week, I think definitely that was the highlight of. I guess we'll speak a little bit about Chelsea, Al, because
Mm,
I think the game itself there was a lot of talking points there. But what do you think about that situation now that I think the latest news is that the EU has given
mm,
the green light for the UK to freeze all of Abramovich's assets, which would mean it would
right.
be hard to get approval to for basic things like wages,
Correct. Correct.
transportation, and all those things. Even their club shop, I think, has been terminated for a while,
It has
right?
been. Yeah.
Because it is an asset to him, and freezing the assets basically mean no export or import can come in, lah. Basically, no
Mm, mm,
transactions going in or transactions going out, isn't it? So,
yeah.
I mean, it definitely puts them in a in a precarious situation. But what do you think, Al, about the reaction from the players and from the manager Thomas Tuchel itself?
I think with the managers that are getting the questions these days about their employment in such clubs, right? I mean, another place where this is happening a lot is Eddie Howe in Newcastle, and
Mm,
people just asking all human rights related issues, which on one hand I find it difficult that a manager has to answer these sort of questions, because
right.
it really is not something which they're going to have to be able to come and to answer. I mean, think about it; it's very difficult. You know, Thomas Tuchel and Eddie Howe are supposed to be answering football related questions, but I think this is also an eye opener, Jerry. I think clubs like City, clubs like Newcastle and Chelsea, obviously Chelsea very recently, but clubs whose financial backing comes from very questionable assets and avenues. You'd have to know all these things, and you'd have to step up to the plate. I think this is going to set a precedent for all managers to know thoroughly who they're playing for, which
Mm,
maybe is going to be something which we see very, very poignantly for the coming years to come. Which I again I do feel for Thomas Tuchel. I do feel for those understaffed people at Chelsea who might be losing their jobs and so on and so forth. But maybe this was a long time coming. Maybe
mhm,
I honestly, Jerry, if you ask me my personal opinion, and we're going to talk about the game in a minute, I
mhm,
really don't know how to feel about this, because we've been watching football for a very long time.
mhm,
And when he came in 2003 and he blew everyone away in 2004 and 5. At that time, the manner of how he spent was really unheard of.
Yeah.
So on one end, people are saying that you're changing the game for the worse to a certain degree because fair play and all that all out of the window. Arsene Wenger has
Mhm.
been crying for those things for years, even
Yeah.
even even in this whole new era of money. So maybe it was a long time coming. Maybe this was a long time coming, and maybe this is the dues that has to be paid because of all that's happening at Chelsea and so on. But make no mistake, it's his financial backing that has led to this. Premier League titles and Champions Leagues and so on and so forth. Chelsea were they weren't a relegation team, but they were never the Chelsea that we are talking about today, right? But I mean, I think this is going to set precedent for the new managers to know basically who their employers are, where this financial backing is coming from. And if it's coming from questionable places, then, well, this is something that they have to deal with. La. I mean, this is something they've got to answer to. La. Unfortunately, of course.
Right, right. Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying there
Yeah.
because, like, basically what Jamie Carragher said, I'm just going to read what he said. Chelsea have been doing
Yeah.
it for 20 years. We can throw our
Mm,
money
mm,
about and we can get who we want, basically.
mm.
We'll go and get Peter Kenyon, Man United CEO. We'll go to Liverpool and
Yep.
destabilize that club for 2 summers trying to sign Steven Gerrard.
Mm,
We'll get Ashley Cole,
mm,
invincible, won
mm,
everything at Arsenal. We'll get caught tapping up. Doesn't matter, we'll pay the fine. They win the Youth
mm,
Cup every year, or they get in the final not because they've got the best coaches or the best academy, but they've gone and
mm.
taken the best players from every club within the country
Exactly.
and
Mm,
relocate the family and give the dad a scouting job. So Chelsea Football
mm,
Club have taken advantage of every other club in the last 20 years because of
mm,
Roman Abramovich and his investment in the club, and I think
mm,
his ruthless nature of just changing managers whenever he wants, I think he
mm,
has made a lot of decisions in the club
mm,
that are not just financial related but are football related as well, right?
mm, mm,
So maybe that's why there is a justification for the FA or anybody who's deciding on this matter to
mm.
put some sanctions on him for once, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, he has played a very big role in the club. You can't say he's like an independent regulator, or you
Yeah.
can't say that
Yeah.
he is someone who's you know uh not involved in club matters and football
Mm.
matters, because he has been involved in all. That being said, I don't think he's had a lot of controversy. Like, let's be fair. I think he's
Yeah. Yeah. We have to be
all of
fair.
that
You're
very
right. You're right.
silent.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think
Yeah. Yeah.
he's had the controversy that even the Saudi Arabian owners do have.
Mm,
Right? I mean, even
mm.
Amnesty International now have are putting pressure on Eddie Howe to
Correct.
comment on the Saudi
The
Arabia.
beheadings and
Right.
all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and not,
Yeah.
I think not specific situation, but just to comment on their ownership and what this would mean for the
Yeah.
English Premier League. Right?
Yeah.
But like I said, all these are political matters, and we can only give. I to a certain extent agree with what Jamie Carragher has said, but I do
Mm, mm,
feel that maybe Chelsea can use this as a chance to rebuild,
mm,
and
mm,
to rethink a lot of their processes at the club. I think definitely it
mm.
would give them a chance to maybe build from within rather than always look for just signings.
Outside. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
outside investment. But that being said, Al, do you think Havertz should have been sent off? And do you think he shouldn't have been on the pitch to even score that goal?
Actually, you know what? I looked at it and I'm thinking there's a strong chance of an argument for him to actually be sent off.
Yeah.
You know, um, this is the thing, like this is again, I I tell you, like, for all our listeners out there, I don't want to mention anymore. It's like the same thing I'm talking week in, week out with this
Yeah.
VAR conundrum. Because I mean, I think his one, maybe you could say that it's a debate for where it could not also be a sent off. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, I thought it could have been a sent off. And this is where, again, you had Lampard a few weeks ago and with the whole handball situation. And I mean, Eddie Howe didn't actively comment on it, I think. But this
Mm,
is where the game could have been a difference.
mm,
Maybe Newcastle could have nicked something with Chelsea being 10 men. You know, maybe it
mm,
could have been a 0-0 because he got the goal in the end of the day, right?
mm,
So I mean, I think referees just got to be constant. But fair play to Havertz, Jerry. I think that touch that he took for the goal, I thought that was fantastic. So
Yeah, it was a
footballing
fantastic
wise,
goal, man. It was a fantastic goal.
yeah, it was a really good goal. And I guess the striker woes continue a little bit. And again, without Reece James, I think Chelsea just look very, very different. I think it's a whole different dynamic. I mean, they got the goal, they got the 3 points, but I really, really think that Reece James has to play for them. I think with Reece James, they are much better. I thought without him on the day, I didn't think they were as coherent. Lukaku came
Yeah.
on, obviously, but again, no real service. But Havertz's goal was, wow, touch of class, really touch of class. So fair play to him. He made the most of being on the pitch, but he's a
Mhm.
lucky boy, in my opinion, that is, of
Yeah.
course.
I think Newcastle managed to hold Chelsea
Mm,
and restrict their chances very well. I think Eddie Howe, like he said, was disappointed to lose that winning streak that they were on, or that unbeaten streak that
yeah.
they were on. And I definitely felt that because I felt, Almiron, Gumares had a few chances. I think the save from
Mm,
Almiron was a really good save by Mendy just
yeah.
in the half time, you know.
Mm,
And I think Chelsea did the same actually to hold Newcastle back. So it was a very, very neutral game where both teams were shutting each other out. But eventually it was Harvard's class, really classy goal that
yeah,
made the
really classic goal.
difference
Yeah.
on the day. But I definitely think Newcastle can feel hard done by, and Newcastle can take a lot of
Mm,
positives out of that performance because it seems like Dan Burns was holding Havertz right until the end, right until that
yeah.
goal, where he missed. He didn't go with Havertz, and
Yeah.
Havertz
Yeah.
eventually
You
broke
could see
free
he was
there.
so disappointed when that goal
Yeah,
went
you
in.
could
You could
see he was
see.
disappointed with that goal, man.
Yeah.
And it was but I do think Newcastle have enough to stay up. I'm very worried for Everton now, dude. Because it looks
Yeah.
like
No, it
all
doesn't
their
look good, lah.
fixtures up. It doesn't look good for Everton. And they could
Yeah.
be I mean, yeah, Everton, I don't think they've ever been relegated before. So I think this would be their first ever relegation, if I'm not mistaken. I'll definitely check
No,
that
have
on
they
the
not?
I don't think Everton ever been relegated. Wow, that was Everton are one of the six. So that was a regularly Google question this year. Have Everton ever
Yeah.
been
Wow.
relegated? So Everton are one of the six ever present teams to have never been relegated from the Premier League. But could
There you
this
go.
be the year? Wow, interesting, interesting. So yeah, I think a lot of positives for Newcastle. So moving on, I guess we could speak about Liverpool game as well. So wow,
Mm,
I
mm.
mean
Business as usual, man.
business as usual and just clinical. I think it was really brave for Luis Diaz to go for that ball.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Should
was. It
that have
was.
been a sending off? Then
Um,
I guess it was
I
very
would
quick,
say.
and I feel it was too late for Sanchez to pull out. That's what I would say. But
Yeah.
it was definitely
Yeah.
high. That's what I felt. It was quite high.
Yes. Yes. I would say yes for precedent. No, because there's nothing else the keeper could have done.
Right.
So we would have seen it being a red card in the weeks before this.
Mhm.
I would have I thought when it happened, definite red, but the referee didn't give it. But I also think that literally there's nowhere else for the keeper to go in such speed. So if it's a card, maybe a yellow, but that's the thing. The rules of the game today would suggest that that's a definite red. You see, and the fact that he did not give it was again questionable. You see, so that's it's
Right.
again another refereeing decision which is very questionable. So based on the last weeks, whenever a foot is raised up high in the penalty box, you could say it's a definite red, right?
Right.
So, but it wasn't. It was a penalty, but Salah tucked it home. Liverpool business as usual. I thought they were very, very pragmatic at times. I thought the defense was good.
Yeah.
And Liverpool
Did
business as
you
usual, fullback.
did you see Klopp shouting his head off at Salah for not passing the ball in that
I,
chance
I
before the
did,
first half?
I did. He has the
Yeah.
tendency, you remember Money when he got off once. This was a
Yeah.
couple of seasons
Yeah.
back. I can't remember, and he was
Yeah.
pissed off. He was saying, "Oh, why can't he pass the ball?" So Salah has that knack about him,
Yeah.
and apparently he also has a knack of not signing contracts as well. So that's another thing altogether.
or asking for $400,000
Yeah,
basically a
asking for
week. I
400
think
G's, man.
yeah, 400 G's. I mean, even Wenger is like giving him the money. Even Alfonso Davies from Bayern's like giving him his money. I think everybody wants Salah to get his money,
Yeah, yeah,
except
yeah.
for
No, he
John W.
deserves it. He
Henry.
deserves it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
deserves it. But
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not too
Liverpool
sure.
might have to think of the economical aspect, lah, dude.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't think I'm gonna say this. I think
Yeah.
I definitely can't speak for all Liverpool fans out there. But what I'm gonna say is I do think that if the situation comes where they cannot reach a decision amicably, I think Salah would have to go. And I don't think it's the end of the world really. I
Mm,
think you'll
mm,
definitely be letting go of one of Liverpool's best ever players to have played for the club, right?
mm,
But I
mhm.
do think the club is bigger than the player, and I think I say that for
Of
a
course,
lot of the
definitely.
clubs out there, and I think every fan would say that for every club, and that should always, no matter how good a player is, or no matter how bad it may be, a decision to let go. I think all fans must remember that the clubs are always bigger than the players, and if you were to
Mm,
remember, Al, I think when Coutinho left, a lot of people said that Liverpool wouldn't be able to compete at that high level anymore, right?
yeah,
And they
yeah.
reached
But
a
what a
level
difference.
higher than they were after, I mean,
Exactly.
when
Yeah.
they were with Coutinho. I think let's see with can you think of any other examples where the club have had to I mean, Arsenal, obviously, that's the obvious example, isn't it? And
Yeah, yeah.
I think
I think
even United having to let go of Ronaldo. I
yeah,
mean, they
yeah,
did have Wayne
correct.
Rooney there, they
Yeah,
did have a lot of players there, and I do think Liverpool do have. I do think players like Diaz and Jota, right, are the future.
yeah,
You know, I
yeah.
think
No,
they are the future.
absolutely. Yeah.
Players like Harvey
Do you?
Elliott as well. I think the focus should be on building them instead of always having to
Mm,
focus on,
mm,
oh, is Salah gonna stay? Is Salah gonna leave? I think
yeah.
it just makes it a bit more complicating, and it's just unwanted pressure on a club, isn't it?
You no, you look at Diaz performing on Saturday, and I thought he had a really good game. He was man of the
Mm.
match.
I think he had a
So
better game
so
than Salah actually.
exactly, and Salah, missed a golden opportunity, and of course, let's not take anything. He's top scorer, fantastic player, but I think this is again my problem with the modern game having these agents running their mouth. I don't know whether you
Mm.
heard about this or not, but his agent apparently wrote on Twitter and gave a laughing emoji when Klopp basically had that press conference that said, now the ball is in Mo's court and he's got to decide, etc., etc. And
Mhm.
again, similar thing with Pogba, we hear it all the time. And now I think with Salah, I think he deserves the money, of course, but again, Liverpool is being run in a very different way as compared to your City or United, who just abuse the wage bill like nobody's business.
Yeah,
And I think Liverpool's run a bit differently. So that's the thing. And again, this is the other thing, Jerry. Where's he gonna go? You see, because Real Madrid are gonna get Mbappe, right?
yeah,
Barca have this whole financial problem. PSG might be the only one, but does he
yeah.
really want to go to Liga? I mean,
I mean,
I
he's already seen what's happened with Ronaldo, man. It's not good,
yes,
and
he's not
you've
look.
seen
It
what.
doesn't look
I
good.
mean,
Exactly.
if PSG fans, right, can boo Messi, right, they can boo anybody. you
And
know.
yeah, they can boo anybody. They
if
can
you
boo
can
anybody.
boo,
They boo.
if you can boo like the greatest player of our generation, right? I
Yeah.
think I think even with PSG, I do think Salah can have a good career at PSG. I think he
Mm,
still
mm,
has a good few years in him. It's not like
mm.
and you see Salah has gone all over the world, right? So I do
Yeah,
think he can adapt very quickly to PSG, and I do think he can definitely build a good relationship with their Qatari owners. He might be able to,
yeah, yeah,
obviously it's
yeah,
all ifs, buts, and maybes, but he's got to realize that PSG is not a club where he can go and become like a cult hero in an instant,
yeah.
unless he puts in those shifts. It would be
Mm,
similar to playing for Liverpool or worse
mm.
because PSG fans, they, I think, to a certain extent they become very privileged already, and
Yeah, they
they're at
have.
a position where they can expect anything they want, basically, right?
Mm, mm,
They can buy whoever they want, they can expect anything they want. So I
mm.
do think that Salah would not find the love that he has right now at Liverpool. I think just
Oh,
the
most
way it
definitely.
happened,
Yeah.
I think the way it happened, the way everything worked out from him since the day he signed for Liverpool, all the cups he's won, and sort of that City's loyalty towards Salah, I think is very, very big. Liverpool's loyalty towards
Mm,
Salah, I think, is very, very big. And I think you saw what it did to Coutinho, not getting that same
mm,
loyalty. I think it broke him down completely to the point where he's had to rebuild his career with a fellow Liverpool ex-player. I mean,
Spot on. Yeah.
that even says a lot. So I guess we will see how the situation develops over the years. But I think Liverpool fans will be really looking to the Arsenal game day after tomorrow. I think if they win the Arsenal game, pressure is on
Oh
City
yeah,
because
City drew at
yeah,
Palace. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
City drew with Palace, and I don't think we're really gonna get into that game.
yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious, right, Al, that
Mm.
they just didn't take their chances. Obviously, you can say the
Yeah,
obvious
yeah.
thing of they've got no striker. Every time City draw, don't score a goal. Oh, they got no striker. But
That's
every
what we're
time
gonna
they
say.
win and
Correct, correct.
score, every time they win and
Yeah,
score, it's like, oh, the team is fine. That's how they play. That's how Guardiola plays. I
exactly,
just think
exactly.
that
Yeah,
City had good, and they had chances to win the game. Now they had chances,
yeah.
and they had the better chances to win the game, but they just didn't take those chances, unfortunately. And I think that it's not necessarily true that having a striker on your pitch means more goals. But I think
Mm, mm.
statistically speaking, I think you could say that having a striker on your pitch gets you goals
It
because
definitely helps.
that's the striker's
It
job,
definitely
basically.
helps.
Yeah,
Yeah, but maybe not for City. I think City are okay. Maybe it's a blip. We'll have to see how they
yeah,
perform over the weekend, lah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I
But
think
I
it's a
don't
blip.
think
They
their
had the
romance
chance.
with Harry Kane has ended. I think it's a notebook story. I think they're just waiting, for Harry Kane to run back into their arms next season.
Yeah, I know, I know. I think that's gonna happen as well, lah. I think that might happen, lah.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think that
yeah.
might happen.
Yeah, it's destined to happen, isn't it? So, moving on from the two top teams, I think we will leave it for when the race gets really interesting, and I think we
Mm,
will do another video speaking a little bit more in depth about the top two teams after this weekend's batch of games, after the midweek games, and since next week is an international break, I think we can take our time, to give you the best we can. Now we are a bit short for time, so I'm just going to make a quick run through the other games. Al, I think Arsenal another solid performance, really. And if you saw that second half, Al, you would have seen how Partey and Odegaard would just. It was a joke,
mm.
man. I mean, some of the moves they were
Waltzing.
doing.
They were just waltzing, man.
Yeah,
They were
exactly.
just
Some of the moves
waltzing.
they were doing is like, wow. I mean, they were taking the piss, really. They were taking the piss,
Yeah, yeah,
towards the
yeah.
end, and I think they were doing it because they didn't want Leicester to get a foothold in the game. You
Mm,
see, with
mm.
teams like Leicester, you can't go chance by chance, chance by chance, chance by chance, because that just gives them a opportunity to score, isn't it?
Yeah, a
Maybe
momentum
on the
lah. They're a
counter attack.
momentum team. Yeah, yeah.
I think you need to hold the game, especially after you get an early lead. I think Partey getting that goal was very unexpected, but I think that goal gave him a lot of confidence because after that he was unbeatable in that midfield, and I felt
Mm,
that eventually made a difference.
mm. I just like to say this about Arsenal really quick.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think when I saw the game on Sunday night, Arsenal Leicester, and the way they were playing, and I know we've been singing their praises for weeks now, and rightly so, of course. But they are very reminiscent to the Liverpool team after the year Coutinho left. That
Yeah,
year, or was it the year Coutinho? I can't remember, but you could see Liverpool building.
yeah,
You could
yeah,
see that they are maybe 1-2 players shy away from a real
yeah.
title push.
It
I
was
really
funny,
see
L.
that with
Actually,
Arsenal.
just to add on to your point there, I think it's a good point
Yeah.
you made there. Liverpool sold Coutinho in January, right? January of
Yep.
2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they bought Van Dijk in
Aubameyang.
that
Yep.
same window. They bought Van Dijk in that
Yep.
same window and went on to the Champions League final, right?
There you go.
And
Exactly.
yeah, they did it with. So they sold Coutinho in the same season that they ended up
Mm,
Champions League finalists. Obviously, they didn't win, but I think if they had
mm.
won, I think it would have been a big statement. And I feel like
Correct.
Arsenal are sort of making that statements now, right? Very
Correct.
slowly.
Correct. Correct.
But I
Correct.
think it's all going this whole season, good performances or not, is all going to hinge on whether Arteta can get Champions League.
Mm,
Because I don't
mm,
think the Arsenal fans are going to feel hard done by even if they miss out on Champions League and they get Europa League. I think obviously they'd be disappointed, but there's some
mm.
progress there. But I think
Yeah. Yeah.
Arteta has he should use this opportunity to really push for that top four, because
Yeah, no,
I think
definitely.
United I think they have a lot more rebuilding to do than Arsenal have to do right now.
Of course,
You
yeah.
know?
Arsenal at the moment much better than United in terms of a team structure.
Yeah,
I really do
yeah.
see,
And you do see a
well
pattern
done,
of play
Arsenal.
there. You see a pattern of
Yeah,
play there,
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
Yeah,
And I'm going to
yeah,
be very interested for the Liverpool game now. I mean, the
yeah,
last time when Arsenal played those big teams, we could see, they're missing this, missing that.
yeah.
But now
But
they
this
are
time
a
they got
team.
home advantage, Al. They've
This
got the
time they got home
Emirates.
advantage.
And it's
Exactly,
you see, a positive Emirates stadium makes a big difference from a negative Emirates stadium.
exactly,
And
exactly.
that's what the
Yep.
last few performances have given to Arsenal, like a positive vibe
Mm,
around the area. I mean, even Bella
mm.
Hadid and Ranveer Singh, I think Ranveer
Oh
Singh,
yeah,
right?
I
I
saw
think
Ranveer Singh's one. Yeah.
what
Yep.
any Arsenal fan who wants to know what a model Arsenal fan looks like should go and watch that
Yep.
guy's interview with AFTV. I think
And
it just positivity, man. That's all you need.
and
I
and
mean,
and,
even in the
and,
worst
and you know what,
situations.
dude? And you know what, dude? I
Yeah,
sorry to cut you off. I just had to just
yeah, no
put
problem.
this in. The top comment of that video, because I watched that video. You know what was the top comment? Did you see the top comment? The top comment
No,
was, "Dude speaks better English than Harry Kane." So with the thick Indian
uh,
accent and all that.
yeah, yeah. Hurricane's not gonna escape from that one, is he? Right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was born with a shorter tongue, and the English media won't let him forget about his short tongue. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh man. So aside from the Arsenal game, I think, like I said, a positive environment is what they need right now after so many months of
Mm.
negativity, right, and question marks. Okay. Well, another honourable mention, I guess, could go to Leeds United, who got their first win under Jesse
First
Marsch.
win, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a really good match. I think two goals in that last 5 minutes really changed that game and added. Even Brentford with a win on the day playing against Burnley.
Mm.
Wolves with a 1-0 win against Everton. Not looking good for Everton this season,
Not looking good at
unfortunately.
all. Yep.
And I think moment of the weekend, just before we end, I think we'll end in a minute or two. I think moment of the weekend goes out to Andriy Yarmolenko and him getting that goal for West Ham, isn't it?
Oh
As
yeah,
much
West
as
Ham. Yep.
Aston Villa have been flying, I think West Ham really showed that. I think Moyes also was trying to show Gerrard, like, hey man, I mean, I've been doing this a lot longer than you. You're not gonna
Yeah,
just come here and get a
yeah,
result, just on a
yeah.
technicality. I think we're gonna, and West Ham did make it hard for Aston Villa. And to be
Mm.
fair, they were the
Mm.
better team on the day. I think they had the better chances. Aston Villa looked like they did. Ings and Watkins had a very quiet game. I think they
Yeah.
found it hard to break down West Ham, and West Ham are not an easy team to beat. I think Declan
Mm.
Rice even was the best midfielder on the pitch and made a lot of contributions from midfield. But I think it was really beautiful to see Yarmolenko get that goal and the emotion that he felt. It was just, I think, if anything, it just encourage all the Ukrainians or anybody of Ukrainian descent who are going
Yeah.
through
It was
some
a
emotions at the
passionate goal,
moment.
lah. Passionate
Yeah,
goal.
a really
Yeah.
passionate goal, and I think he deserves to have moment of the week, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So that's all from us this week. We will catch you right after. I mean, right after next week's games and when the international break starts. So take care and see you soon.
Ciao, guys. Cheers. Bye.
Yes. All right. That's done. That's a wrap.